Kilimanjaro Safaris.
Sana, that does mean thank you. Now here in Harambe, we say twin day, which means let's go. Jabo everyone, welcome. My name is Allie and I'll be your safari guide today through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Just another couple important safety reminders before we go out and get started. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck and remain seated at all times. If you look above your head, there is an animal spotting guide above you. We'll do our best to find as many of those animals as we can. We normally have some pretty decent luck out there. We are going to get our journey started here together in the Little Aturi Forest. The animals out here in the forest, they like to rely on their natural colors to help blend into their background. So keep a sharp eye out as they could be just about anywhere. Over on the right, hiding behind the bamboo, is the okapi. And to our left in the bushes are some greater kudu. The greater kudu, they're some of the tallest antelopes, standing at around 55 inches just at the shoulder. There is also a bongo, which is the copper-colored antelope to our left. And they're often referred to as the ghosts of the forest, as they're very rarely seen. Now the okapi over on our right, they're generally very shy and reclusive in nature. Although they kind of resemble zebras with all of their leg stripes, okapis are actually the closest known living relative to the giraffe. It's because they share a similar skeletal structure and a long prehensile tongue. On our right, hanging out in their nest, there is a saddle-billed stork. And they get their name from the yellow saddle shape that rests on their beak. They're solitary birds, but if they find a partner, they're partners for life. Over to the left, there is a white rhino, or black rhino laying down there. There is another one up here to our left. Now, black rhinos, they can reach up to about 3,000 pounds, and they can hit speeds of around 30 miles per hour. Black rhinos, they are solitary, so they'll spend the majority of their life living just by themselves. Unfortunately though, due to poaching, there are less than 5,000 black rhinos living in the world today. Now all the animals out here in the forest, they do heavily rely on all these trees for their camouflaging. So it's important we do our best to recycle as many paper products as we can. And we can stop the need for cutting down these trees. Really help these animals thrive out here in their natural habitat. But we are now making our way over to the Safi River. River is home to more aquatic animals, so keep an eye out in the water. Look for shadows or bubbles. There's going to be some really good signs of some animals. Down below, those grayish birds are the pink-backed pelicans. Now they get their name from the pinkish color that they'll turn during their mating season. It's actually their skin that will change colors and not their feathers, so just like us humans blushing. And they're colonial nesters, so they'll be anywhere from around 20 pairs of birds to about 500 pairs. And a group of pelicans is called a pod. And just keep your eyes out in the water here, because although hippos can swim, they are so heavy that they'll just sink down to the bottom and they'll run along the bottom of the water. And they can also hold their breath for about 6 to 8 minutes at a time. Now it does seem pretty quiet out in the water here. But just across the rocks are the Nile crocodiles. Now they are the largest crocodilian species in all of Africa. On average, they're around 16 feet long and about 500 pounds. And they can eat half their body weight in just one sitting. We are now making our way up here. Now the crocodiles, they have an incredible jaw strength of roughly 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. They're still pretty gentle though, and you'll find that the mom and dad, they'll hold their eggs in their mouth. They'll roll them around with their tongues in order to soften them up to help them hatch. And they don't have sweat glands like we do, so in order to release all their body heat, they'll lie there with their mouths wide open in order to help cool themselves off. And a group of crocodiles is called a congregation. To our right, that is the baobab tree. Now those trees, they go leafless around 9 months out of the year. They're often referred to as the upside down tree. It kind of looks like their roots stick up in the air. Another pretty common name for them is the tree of life. That's because they can store thousands of gallons of water in their trunks at a time, storing up to around 30,000 gallons. We have just made our way into the largest part of the reserve, the savannah. The savannah is going to be home to Africa's much more popular and iconic wildlife. Now, it is a much more open environment out here on the savannah. Animals, they do work together to keep it that way. So the elephants, they'll come by, they'll bulldoze the trees. The giraffes, they prune all the trees and keep them nice and tidy on the top. And all the antelope out here, they work together like natural lawnmowers, and they'll eat all the grasses. It does look like to our left, hanging out in the cave, there are some African wild dogs. Now they're also known as the painted dogs. Those coat patterns are so unique, they can actually identify one another from about a mile away from one another. But don't let their cuteness fool you. They're the most successful predator. The success rate of around 90%. To put that in perspective, lions have a success rate of just 30%. And they are led by an alpha male and alpha female pairing. To our left, closer to us, are the wildebeest, and further back are the sable antelopes. Now the sable antelopes, they are the official emblem here of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. They have an average lifespan of around 18 years, and their coats darken as they mature. And the sable antelopes have their horns, which they use to show their dominance in both fighting and sparring, as well as love and courtship. Wildebeest is Afrikaans, meaning wild beast. Over 1.5 million of them used to migrate across Africa every single year. And a group of wildebeest is called an implausibility. To our right are the tallest animals in the world, the Maasai giraffes. And they stand at about 18 to 20 feet tall. Just like our fingerprints, no two spot patterns will ever be the same. They're unique to each and every giraffe. Now giraffes, their tongues are a bluish purple in color. And that helps prevent any sunburn, as they spend the majority of their days awake and eating. As giraffes, they only sleep about 30 minutes a day. That's not one 30-minute nap they'll take. It's a bunch of small little naps scattered throughout the day, often so standing up, as laying down makes them much more vulnerable to predators. Coming up on our right are the Ankoli cattle. Now they're also known as the Watusi cattle. That's after the Watusi tribe who were the first to domesticate them. These horns might look like they'd be very heavy. They actually have a honeycomb-like structure on the inside. Helps them in their blood circulation and keeping their body temperature regulated. Those horns weigh around 5 to 10 pounds each, can get up to about 8 feet in length from tip to tip. There are a couple more giraffes to our right up on the hill. Now a group of giraffes is called a tower. First thing a baby giraffe experiences is gravity. Mom gives birth standing up, so it's a nice 6-foot welcome drop to the world. Except it only takes a newborn giraffe about an hour after birth to start standing up and walking. Now also have pretty impeccable eyesight, so when combined with their height, the giraffes have a great vantage point across the entire savanna. And keep a watchful eye out on any potential threats that might come their way. It does seem pretty quiet over on our left-hand side. See, it does look like there's a couple African elephants to our right. Now if you look at their ears somewhat resemble the continent of Africa. If you can get a good look, those ears of theirs are filled with blood vessels. By just flapping their ears, elephants can actually cool themselves off up to around 15 degrees. So it's like they have their own little cooling system built right in. One way you can help protect not only elephants but also gorillas is by recycling products containing coltan. Coltan's a metallic ore which you'll find in cell phones, laptops, tablets, and other smaller electronics. It's known to last forever, so it's important we do our best to recycle as many of those products as we can, so we can stop the need for mining for more, help protect the homes of elephants and gorillas all over the world. Now we are making our way here through some red clay pits. These are a great source of minerals for all the animals out here. You'll often see the elephants come by. They'll dig their tusks in to extract the minerals, as it works like you and I taking a daily vitamin. There are some tusk marks there on the right-hand side, which could mean we might find more elephants up ahead. Now, elephants, they do live in a matriarchal society, so it is the females who run the show. And the boys, they will kick themselves out of the herd as they mature. That happens around age 15. Now those boys, they'll go on to live alone, or they'll form a small little bachelor herd of around 2 to 3 other male elephants. They are the largest mammals in the world. Fully grown, an African elephant reaches around 13,000 pounds and stands at about 13 feet tall. There's another giraffe straight ahead hiding out in those trees there. And another one laying down with a couple of wildebeest there. There are a couple more baobab trees here. In severe droughts, the elephants, they come by with their tusks and puncture holes in them. That way they can extract all the water stored inside to help everyone out here get some much needed water. It does look like there is one more African elephant straight ahead just above those bushes there. And straight ahead here are the greater flamingos. Now greater flamingos, they are the lightest in color and largest of all flamingo species. They get their pink coloration from the beta-carotene, which is found in their diet of mainly brine shrimp. It does take roughly around 2 to 3 years for that pink to start developing though. And a group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. just crossed over to the eastern side of the savanna here. This giant mud pit in the middle here, this is the mud wallow, which was created here by the white rhino. Now the white rhinos, they'll combine, they'll take a nice mud bath, then they'll brush their horns up against the trees and the rocks, as their horns are made out of keratin like our fingernails. So by brushing their horns up against the trees and rocks, they're filing down their horns like we would our fingernails. To our right, making a nice strut down the aisle there, is the ostrich. Now ostriches, although they have wings, they are flightless. They instead use those wings to help them change directions as they run. And ostriches, they can reach speeds of about 40 miles per hour. If you look to the right, hiding in those trees up on the hill are a couple of those white rhinos. Now white rhinos, they do get a bit bigger than the black rhino we spotted earlier, as these guys can reach 5,000 pounds. Now we have just entered into some cat territory though. There is a cheetah roaming around to our left. Now cheetahs, they are the fastest land mammals, reaching around 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. Now they can't hold their speed for too long though, roughly just a few hundred yards. And cheetahs, they have pretty incredibly muscular tails, which act sort of like a rudder on a boat, and it helps them change directions as well as keep their balance as they run. They also have black tear marks that run underneath their eyes, which act as the cheetah's natural sunglasses. They do the majority of their hunting during the daytime. And a group of cheetahs is called a coalition. It does look like there's a bunch more white rhinos straight ahead here. Now, white rhinos, they do love to hang out in groups. And a group of rhinos is called a crash. Now that's a pretty accurate name for them. Rhinos have very poor eyesight, can only see about 10 feet in front of them clearly, can reach speeds of around 40 miles per hour. So crash is a pretty accurate name for them. And it does look like to our left is the male lion. Now in a lion pride, it will be the females who go out and do the hunting, while the males, they stay back, guard the territory, and any cubs. Reason the females go out and do the hunting is they weigh significantly less. The manes the males carry can weigh around 40 pounds. When a lion roars at their full power, you can hear that roar from about 5 miles away. So I would take you all the way over to Epcot. They have pretty comparable daytime vision to ours, but a lion's nighttime vision is roughly 6 times more powerful. Now the white rhinos, they get their name not from their color, but from the mistranslation of the Afrikaans word vite. Vite means wide, as referring to their mouth shape. Those ostriches there, those are all females. You can tell by the coloration of their feathers. Females have that lighter gray color, while males have dark gray, basically jet black feathers. They do lay some pretty giant eggs, which are here on the right-hand side. Now ostrich eggs, they are incredibly strong, and a grown adult can actually stand on one and not even crack it. Just about one of their eggs is equivalent to 2 dozen chicken eggs. They'll both weigh around 3 to 4 pounds. Stop here, this is the warden's post. Warden takes care and protects all the animals out here. Right now it looks like there's a couple of Nigerian dwarf goats hanging out. Now they are small, but they're fully grown. That's as big as they'll get. They're incredibly playful, friendly, and social animals. Their playing actually helps them with their maturity. They do have a tremendous sense of balance, so you'll often find them climbing up on all the props that they have in there. occasionally they love to climb up onto the roof. Now we did just find a bunch of really cool animals out there, and they all need our help. That can be just as simple as reducing, reusing, and recycling. So going out there, getting those reusable water bottles, straws, even silverware, it's all a great way to start reducing all of that plastic waste. Making sure we recycle as much paper as we can. That way we can help out all those animals out there who really rely on trees for their survival. Remember, when we all do a little, together we do a lot. So go out there, make those differences, spread your knowledge, and together we can help out all of those animals. And if there are any wilderness explorers on board, you guys have been riding on the Simba 1. That is Simba like the lion and the number 1. But here in Harambe, we do not like to say goodbye. As goodbyes, they are far too sad and they are far too final. Instead, we say Kwaherini, which means to go well. So go well, my friends. Go wild. Go make a difference out there. Enjoy the rest of your time here in Disney's Animal Kingdom, wherever your journeys will end up taking you next.